Bohol. The history of Bohol. Bohol is descended from tattooed or pintados people. Bohol is called as Island de Pintados because the people living in Bohol came from Austronesian or Malayo-Polynesian language family, which was known for having a tattoo in their body. According to historian, the word Bohol comes from word Bohol, which refers to the name of one barangay in Bohol. Some sources, however, claim that it actually came from Visayan term boho, or hole owing the abandoned cave and hole in the island. It is said that around 12,000, the Lutos arrived from northern Mindanao. They built settlement on stilt and its strait between mainland Bohol and island of Panglao. This town later became a prospering local center of power, also known as the Kingdom of the Pitan. It lasted until it was abandoned in 1563 out of fear for raids by the Portuguese and their allies from Ternate. The province was setting of dramatic event in 1563 when Chief Sicatuna of the island performed a blood compact with Miguel Lopez de Legazpi. This brought Bohol under Spanish rule, administratively as part of Cebu. Two mayors' revolts were staged in the province. One was led by Tamblot in 1622. In 1744, Dogohoy led another rebellion that was make blood independent from Spain with its own government. For 80 years, in 1828, the rebellion was suppressed and Bohol was made politico-military province, together with Siquijor Island. And now that island province that is nestled in the heart of central Visayas, and it's aptly called God's Little Paradise.
Good day! I will introduce the culture of Bohol and SIQUIJOR province that found in the Philippines. We all know that the famous chocolate hills found in Bohol, so that this province is particular to us. Let's start with the culture of Bohol. Bohol has many cultures that they're proud of. Actually, Boholanos are known to be thrifty, law-abiding, religious, and humble people. The Boholano culture is much like the culture of the Philippines. It is based on the majority population of Austronesian or Malayo-Polynesian people on the island. There are influence from indigenous Melanesian people such as the Eskaya tribe. As from the colonizing Spanish and trade with Mexico, there are also influence in the culture from China and other Asian countries.
Okay.
Boholanos are traditionally used to celebrate festivals. One of the famous festivals that they celebrate is Sandugo Festival. On the Philippine island of Bohol, Tagbiliran City hosts the Sandugo Festival every year as a historical festival. This celebration honors the Treaty of Friendship signed by Dato Sicatuna, a Bohol chieftain, and Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, a Spanish conquistador. On March 16, 1565, a blood pact or Sandugo resulted in the 16th century peace agreement. Also, Boholanos are famous in performing arts such as the Lubok Children Choir. It is being enthralled with the angelic voice of the famous children choirs from Lubok. So that after winning competition and representing the nation at numerous international festivals, the Lubok Children Choirs is recognized as one of the culture treasures of Bohol.
Province of Bohol. Over 90% of population are Christians and over 80% are Roman Catholic. The religious practices are heavily influenced by more than 300 years of Spanish colonization. Other religions in Bohol are Protestant, Iglesia ni Cristo, Mormons, Islam, and other majority of the population is Roman Catholic. Adherent of other Christians domination, Other practices, tradition, indigenous religious. The former indigenous Boholano religion was largely eliminated by Spaniards.
Is a variant of the Cebuano language spoken in the island province of Bohol in the Visayas and a major portion of southern Leyte. As well as parts of Mindanao, particularly in northern Mindanao and Caraga, it is sometimes erroneously described as a separate language, even though Binolanon originated as a dialect continuum of the Cebuano language. Language nomenclature in the central Philippines is rather confusing. To say the least, as the central group of island is called Visaya, or more properly Bisaya, as there is no V in any of the language spoken there. Some people call Cebuano Visayan or Binisaya. However, this term is confusing, as this name is also applied to Hiligaynon, also known as Ilonggo, spoken on Panay and in Negros Occidental and Waray, spoken on Leyte and Samar. The Cebuano language is spoken on Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor and parts of Negros, northern Mindanao, and Leyte. Adding to the confusion is that many Filipinos call this language dialects, even though they are quite distinct in many aspects, similar to the differences between English, Dutch, and German. Side note, also in Borneo, there is a people calling themselves Bisaya, speaking yet another language called, you guessed it, Bisaya. The historical connection is of course the most Filipino Bisayans migrated to their current homeland some 1,000 years ago. In a semi-literate population, the language had its own script before the Spanish conquest. Separated by seas and mountains, a language can change a lot in such a span of time. So again, this language is unintelligible to Filipino Bisayan. Bisayan language is an artificial auxiliary language of the Iskaya people of Bohol, an island province of the Philippines. Boholano, the native language of Bohol with a substitute lexicon.
The history of Siquijor. The arrival of the Spaniard in the 16th century led to many improvements, especially in farming and fishing implementation. Little is chronicled of Siquijor prior to the Spanish exploration, but is told that one of the excavation is the island. The digger yielded Chinese porcelain and the other Chinese wares, proving that sellers or traders had actually arrived ahead of the Spaniards. Siquijor was officially discovered in 1565. A crew of Spanish explorers named the Legazpi expedition led by Esteban Rodriguez. From Bohol, a team set sail to survey nearby island. In the late 1800s, Siquijor fell down under the government of Bohol before becoming part of Negros Oriental. During the World War II, Siquijor was occupied by the Japanese Imperial Force, but American influence still prevailed. Finally, in 1971, Siquijor was become an independent province.
Let's move. SIQUIJOR is known for its unique Philippine culture of blending Catholicism with traditional religious practices, a major part of its people's cultural heritage and identity. SIQUIJOR have unique culture and tradition compared to other provinces in the Philippines. It's known throughout the country for its unique healing arts. Its century-old tradition of concocting local potions is still being practiced and used as alternative medicine, so that SIQUIJOR makes them unique to the other provinces in the Philippines. SIQUIJOR is famous for its beautiful coastline, waterfalls, beautiful corals, caves, big trees, white sand beaches, and breathtaking panoramic views. Here are the reasons you need to make sure you include SIQUIJOR in your Philippines itinerary. Just like to other provinces, they not complete without celebrating festival. One of the famous festivals in SIQUIJOR is the Witch Festival. It's popularly known throughout the country for witchcraft. A witchcraft festival is held at Crocodile Hill overlooking the Bay of Lassie and the Mindanao Sea. When the full moon is full, the sorceress called Magbabarang gathered herbs, fruits, and live insects. Throw this into a giant cauldron filled with boiling water, then sit in a circle around it while miming incantation. This followed by dancing and ends in an inclusive ritual in secluded cave at dawn.
Province of SIQUIJOR. 95% of the island residents belong to Catholic Church, while the remainders belong to various other Christian churches. Despite the province's Catholic affinities, almost all of the residents continue to adhere to traditional practices that were used prior to the 15th century, albeit these practices have also adopted Christians' belief system as well. Due to the ingrained and indispensable traditional belief system, majority of residents have continued to possess a high respect for the natural environment, which was revered by the ancestor of the people. SIQUIJOR is known for its unique Philippine culture of blending Catholicism with traditional religious practices. A majority of its people, cultural heritage, and identity.
Cebuano is the most prevalent language spoken in the island, but as with many of the provinces in the Philippines, English has been widely accepted as the second language and used to communicate with those who do not speak Cebuano or Bisaya. Tagalog is very rarely spoken since very few of the locals command of Tagalog. Some Spanish words are still understood and used by the locals to this day, owing to the very long time spent by the island under the colonization, control, and jurisdiction of the Spanish Spaniards.